everybody, my name is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Book Chat Teens. Today I'm going to talk to you about a book that I just finished this morning. It's called The Girls I've Been, and it's by Tess Sharpe. This book came out in 2021, so it came out this year. And the reason I read it was because a book club that I am part of picked it for the book last month. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to read it, to be honest, because, and I'm going to provide the same disclaimer that our group leader provided, our group leader emailed out and said that it had a lot of violence in it. And I just wasn't sure if that was something that I wanted to read. But then another member of the book club said that she loved it, and me and her have very similar tastes, so I decided to read it. So I'm going to provide the same disclaimer. This book does have a lot of violence in it, and not just violence, but it has a lot of abuse in it, both any kind of abuse you can think of, really. Emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, to women, to boys. It kind of clears the gambit in terms of abuse. And one of the good things about this book that deals so heavily with abuse is there is a very large resource list at the end of the book if you or anybody that you know is experiencing any form of abuse. So if any of those things are going to be very triggering for you, then this is definitely a book that you would want to avoid. But if you think that you're able to handle that as something that you're reading about, then I would highly recommend this book. It is pretty heavy in terms of those topics. Like I said, it deals with some very, very heavy topics, but it is very well written, and it presents the topics in a really good way to remind everybody that it's never the victim's fault. It's always the perpetrator of the abuse's fault, and the victim should not blame themselves. So, to get into what this book is about. This book is about three friends, Nora, Wes, and Iris, who all go into a bank one day, and there's tension between them because Nora and Wes have actually recently broken up, and now Nora is dating Iris. But there's also some other tension simmering beneath the surface that is unveiled as the book unfolds. So the three friends are going into a bank to deposit some money that they raised for a charity, and as they're about to deposit the money, two bank robbers come in to hold up the bank. And things escalate pretty quickly, and you find out as things are unraveling that Nora was actually raised by a con artist. So Nora's mother, Abby, was a con artist, and Nora spent her childhood in different identities as she was helping her mom with these different cons. So Nora's mom ran what is called a sweetheart con, where she would make different men fall in love with her and then rob them, basically. So they were her marks, and Nora played a part in this by acting as different versions of a perfect daughter. So whatever the mark wanted in a daughter, Nora would provide. What this meant was that Nora had a childhood filled with abuse. So whether she was being abused by the sibling or by the mark himself, Nora had to endure a lot of abuse that her mother was aware of, but kind of told her to suck it up and deal with it for the good of the con. So throughout the story, you get alternating perspectives between the present, where Nora and her friends are going through this bank robbery and trying to figure out how to outsmart the bank robbers, and different shadows of Nora's past, where she's unveiling the different identities that she's had and the different girls she's been. So you get to know more about her, and you get to know that one of the identities, she actually helped to put the mark in jail while working with the FBI, and that led to her mother also becoming incarcerated. And so now Nora lives with her much older sister, Lee, and they are kind of on the run. So that's all. I can't go into a lot more without getting too spoilery, but all of this is kind of doled out over the course of the book. So you get a lot more information about what Nora did to her mom and her mark to put them in prison. You get more information into Nora's past and some of the other girls that she's been and the abuse that she's had to endure and what has come to shape Nora. Now, her two friends have also suffered different abuses, so you learn about that too. And so, like I said, there's a representation of abuse almost, where you hear about Wes's abuse at the hands of his father, and Iris's abuse at the hands of her father. So this is a very kind of feminist title. It's very empowering for girls and women. The male characters are all painted pretty poorly, if I'm being honest, except for Wes. But the three characters all share a pretty bad father figure. The bank robbers, of course, aren't great, and there aren't really a lot of other male characters. So men are not portrayed very well in this book, except for the character of Wes. I just thought it was really engaging how the author wrote it. She always leaves you wanting a little bit more, to know a little bit more about Nora's backstory. You want to know how they're going to outsmart the robbers. You want to know how their plans are going to work, and you really want to know why Nora is on the run and what she did to put her stepfather and her mother in prison. And all of it gets explained in the end, and it's just really suspenseful. It's definitely a page turner. I'll be a little bit honest that I felt like maybe the last 30 pages dragged a little bit and could have been a little bit more sped up. But I think that was because I just really wanted to know what was happening, and I was feeling really like anxious to figure it out. So some of the stuff where they were doing a little bit more of the healing process, which was really important for the abuse that they had endured, I kind of skimmed over that a little bit because I wanted to get back more into the action of it. So this is The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharpe. It's in our collection. You can check it out and let me know what you think. And if you have any books that you would like to recommend, I would love to know. So leave those titles in the comments below. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.